Hi, everybody. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
I'm going to introduce you in a second. Hi, Facebook, and hello, YouTube. I'm going to wait for a couple of people to come on. And then I'm going to introduce my friend, Sabina. And hi, everybody. How's your Sunday going? You having a nice Sunday? You doing anything fun? Tell me where you're from, okay? Let me know what city you're from. Hi, Mike and Gary and Ronnie. What city you from? We're on YouTube tonight too, so we're coming in two places. So it's kind of interesting. This is a new thing I'm doing lately, coming from two different social media places. Hey, everybody. Ronnie, where are you from? Let me know what city you're from, and we're going to wait a minute just to get a few more people on board. Hi, Nicole. Susan, hey. We got an RN on here. We're on it, Susan. We're on it. So tonight, it's really special tonight because last week, for anybody that was on my live stream last week, we got into some very heavy duty subject about, the stuff that they're spraying, the stuff the toxins that are coming in from everywhere. Hey, John, welcome. And people were saying, oh my God, this is disgusting. And then other people are like, what can we do about it, right? So I asked and people said, yeah, let's do a detox. So tonight, our show is dedicated to detoxing, and we split it into two parts. So the reason I brought my friend Sabina here tonight.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Sabina is a wholeness and wellness coach, nutritional. She's also an artist, and Sabina is also an author. This is her book that she came out with, and it's beautiful graphics. It's a gorgeous book, and it's about, obviously, you can see on the title, right? From living hell to living miracles, okay? So you can tell a little bit about my friend Sabina. So Sabina's going to do the first part of the video and mostly talking about, healing the body, the intake, and I'm going to let her really describe exactly what she's going to be, her technique. Hi, John. And then I'm going to talk about, on the second half of the video, I'm going to talk about how to clean our bodies and our scalp from what's coming down in the chemicals that we're being hit with on our bodies, and also how to deal with the fungal matter that's coming down that we talked about last week. So without further ado, I'm going to let Sabina introduce herself better than I did, because she could tell you exactly what she's doing and how she helps people heal. So here's my friend Sabina.
Hello, beautiful people. Hello, I'm Sabina, and I've been on the health and transformation journey for about 25 years, and I put a lot of the information, that all the teachings that I learned along my journey, I put it into a program which is called the Sacred Warrior Program. And it took me a long time, but the last 2 years I was actually focusing on this program, putting it all together, and mainly focusing on how can we be empowered in a toxic world, and how can we transform our life from the inside out and live life to its fullest with all the challenges that we get bombarded on a daily basis. So first of all, I'd like to mention that the sad thing is, there's a sad thing and a good thing. The sad thing is we live in a very toxic world, which most of you already probably know. And the good thing is there's something we can do about it. There's many ways we can detoxify body, mind, and spirit, and lift ourselves up and live empowered even among all these challenges. And so toxicity, like, first of all, there's so much toxicity. It's in the food we eat. It's in the water we drink. There's toxicity in the air. And then we have toxicity from electromagnetic fields, from Wi-Fi and cell phones and flat screen TVs. And then there's also such a thing called mental toxicity. We have toxicity in our own mind from our limiting thinking, from lack mentality, and from often, low self-worth, making ourselves wrong. That's actually also a form of toxicity. And then there's toxicity from our surroundings, by the people we hang out with. Negative talk, that's toxicity. Then there is toxicity in our house. It's pretty much everywhere. It's in the walls, it's in the furniture, it's in our cleaning products, household products, it's in beauty products, it's in our microwaves, it sends out radiation. Then there is toxicity from the media. Every day we get bombarded with so much negative thoughts that instills fear and anxiety into us. And no wonder most people, actually more than half of Americans, they suffer from anxiety and depression. And it makes all sense because we get so much bombarded and people don't detoxify. So at some point it accumulates and then it goes into our thinking, and we often so negative. And most people, they actually don't have a high self-worth. They have a lot of self-doubt. There's all kinds of programs running in our mind, such as, I am not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not beautiful, I'm not worthy, or stories such as life is hard. When life is about manifesting and creating. Life is being of service, life is making a difference. And people think life is hard. But the sad thing is that most people do live a life of quiet desperation. They just simply, they go through their day and they just go to a job they don't hate and they work to pay their bills. And at the end of the day, they come home and they're exhausted. So there's no more energy left for manifesting and being of service. So once you get this whole cycle, then it really makes sense to detoxify. And so detoxification actually starts, I would say, with the body, because that's our foundation, our temple. We live in our body. It's our home. So we need to, on a regular basis, detoxify our body, because even we live very conscious, we eat organic food and we drink spring water, we are still exposed to toxicity. And even we grow our own food, we are still exposed to toxicity, because there's toxicity in actually in the soil that we grow our food in. Just by when we put plastic in the landfill, the plastic actually leaches into the soil. So when we grow food, our soil is totally polluted. And also the plastic sinks in our groundwater. So our water is contaminated. Plus we get sprayed by chemtrails. That also goes into the food we grow in our drinking water. So as you can see, even you live the perfect, clean, pure life, which I would love to do, living totally off the grid, growing your own food, collecting spring water, you still have toxicity. So there's no escape. We live in the toxic world. So we absolutely, in order to stay vibrant and healthy, we must detoxify. So I want to share with you some of the most powerful ways to detoxify your body, first of all. And that is, it's not my opinion, it's based on years and years of research that I've done and of studying with the greatest masters in terms of holistic nutrition and detoxification and empowerment. So the single most important substance for detoxification is activated charcoal. And charcoal is actually being used in hospitals, in emergency rooms, for food poisoning and drug overdose. So it's been used for many, many years. So it's something new, but it's not enough out there, the information that it actually can help any regular person on a daily basis. And I take charcoal every day. And I would recommend anyone who is interested in detoxing, taking in the morning, start with a small dose of maybe 2 capsules, and then you go up to 4 next month, then to 6. Actually, I don't want to go too much into detail because then it would take a very long time, but you can contact me for any further details. But first of all, I want to quickly explain what charcoal does. Charcoal it's like a vacuum cleaner. when you take it, it goes inside your body and it sucks out unhealthy organisms, metabolic waste, toxicity, all kinds of chemicals. It sucks it out and flushes it out. So it's very effective, and the good thing, it's very inexpensive. So anyone can do it and anyone can afford it. And if you buy it in bulk, that's what I do. I buy a pound and I take it, but it's not so easy to take it when you're not used to. So I recommend anyone to start with charcoal, do it with the capsules. It's much easier. And so it's important to drink it with a lot of water. And I add a little sea salt to it and a little lemon, also make it a little taste better. But this is one of the most powerful substances. And it also actually affects your mental clarity. When you take charcoal, it goes up in your brain and it decalcifies your pineal gland. So I just noticed when I take charcoal that afterwards my brain gets very clear and really experiencing the sharpness of the thinking process is improved just by charcoal. So it has many different, it's not just the detoxification process, it has many different other benefits. And actually, I did a lot of research, and they did some tests on mice, and it came out that the mice that were given charcoal actually lived 35% longer than the mice that did not take charcoal. So you can actually extend your life with charcoal. So it's just another anti-aging longevity secret. So number one, charcoal. And then there's another thing that is very powerful that you can do, and that is fasting and intermittent fasting. And I've been fasting for about 20 years, and I'm a big believer in it, and I have many great results. And I actually healed myself recently from a knee injury by 3 days water only, which means just drinking water, nothing else, and resting. And I fell down and my knee was swollen for 3 weeks. I tried all kinds of natural supplements, nothing really helped. So I went on a water fast, and after 2 days, the swelling went down and the pain got much less. After 3 days, the pain was gone and the swelling was pretty much gone. I was able to walk again. Before, I was just limping and being on a cane. So in 3 days, my entire life changed just by drinking water only. And the thing is, fasting, it creates a process called autophagy. And most people probably never heard of it. It's a pretty new term, but it won the Nobel Prize in 2016 by a Japanese biologist. He brought this topic of autophagy to in the open mainstream. And autophagy means self-eating or self-cannibalism, which sounds a little strange, but what's actually happening because we spend so much energy every day with digesting food. And when we stop eating, the body frees up energy. And this energy can then go into places that need healing. And the body is very smart. The body knows where it needs to go to heal. So in this process called autophagy, what happens, the cells that are diseased or that are ill or broken, they are very weak. And the good cells need nourishment. So they go into those bad, broken, into those diseased cells, and they eat them up. So that's when the process of self-eating comes in. The good cells eat up the bad cells, and that's where there's a huge healing taking place. And especially if you have inflammation, that's what my knee injury was, inflammation. So all these diseased cells, they're inflamed, get eaten up by the good cells, and that's where the body can heal. So when you think about this, it's a very powerful concept, and this is not out a lot in the media. You don't hear this in mainstream. So it's just coming a little bit into the holistic world of this process. And the process of autophagy kicks in about after being 2 days in a water fast. So it's not something that is so easy to do for everyone, but there's something you can do when you're first starting out. So I just want to quickly say, I wouldn't recommend anyone who's never fasted before to do a 3-day water fast, because if you're not used to it, you can actually hurt yourself. You want to ease yourself into it. So I recommend starting doing a intermittent fast first. And the process of autophagy kicks in after 16 hours intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting means 16 hours not eating. And this is something that actually anyone can do. And the suggestion I have, you have your dinner at 6 p.m. or 7. And after, if you have it at 6, you just don't eat afterwards. You just have water and tea. That's okay. And then you go to bed. And the next morning, you don't eat until 10 o'clock. That would be 16 hours. So from 6 p.m. to 10 a.m. And this is very easy to do. You just don't eat after dinner. You drink water or fluids. In the morning, you just have a glass of water. And at 10, you have your breakfast. So you basically fasted for 16 hours. And the little small portion of autophagy kicked in already, where your body can do some healing. And you try this for a little bit. And at some point, you increase. You do a 24-hour fast, or maybe go to 36 hours. But the ideal is to do at least 2 days of water only. And you can add, if water is too hard, you can add a little bit of sea salt or lemon to it, because the body gets some kind of nourishment. But to get the deepest healing, water only. But if you want to still get healing with sea salt and lemon. So that's it for fasting. And I also actually invite everyone who's on this webinar to do your research and to really educate yourself on this topic. That's what I always recommend people do, so you can make an educated choice. Do your research on it. There's a lot of information out there. For example, the Global Healing Center, that's what I've been listening a lot in terms of fasting. And so that's number 2. So we have charcoal, and then we have fasting. And another thing that is great for detoxing, which is much more fun than fasting or taking charcoal, is rebounding. And that means jumping on a trampoline. And this actually, first of all, it detoxes the body. At the same time, it tones all your muscles and massages all your internal organs. So it's actually a great, has multifaceted healing tool. And you can, jump on the trampoline. You can listen to music, you can dance. It's actually quite fun. So my son, he's 11. He's been jumping since he's 2. He jumps every day, and his body is he's like an athlete. He has such strong legs and arms because he jumps every day, at least half an hour, often an hour. But even you just do 10 minutes a day, it makes a difference in your life. I guarantee you that. So that's rebounding. And then there's other things you can do that are not as powerful as the first 3, but one I also always recommend people is walk. It's called earthing. That means walking barefoot on the earth, because the earth has electrons, and we feed ourselves with Mother Nature's electrons that actually shields off electromagnetic frequencies. So when you spend a lot of time in front of a computer, you get bombarded with these EMF fields. So I advise you to go outside, take your shoes off, and just be grounded for a little bit, 10 minutes or so. It makes a difference, because that just washes off all these EMF fields. So that's something that helps you detoxify electromagnetic fields. It's called earthing. There's a whole book on earthing from Clint Over that I read, which was very inspiring. And people have healed themselves also from injuries, just especially inflammation, just being outdoors. And if you can, if you live in nature, just put your laptop outdoors and have your feet on the ground. That's actually very protective from all the stuff you get bombarded with. And then there's also something you can do called oil pulling or oil swishing, which is a very ancient technique. It has to be an oil that is raw and unrefined and organic, ideally like a coconut oil or an olive oil, and you put a teaspoon in your mouth, and you just swish it for 15 to 20 minutes, first thing in the morning. And you can do it while you take a shower or get something ready in the kitchen. But oil pulling also takes out toxicity from your body, and after 20 minutes, you spit it out, and then you just brush your teeth and go on with your day. But that is something that's also easy to do. It's inexpensive, and you can just do it while you do other stuff. The only thing you cannot do is talking. Yeah. So we have and then there is, what else can I? There's other things such as infrared sauna. It's great to detox your body. And then I want to, so this is mainly for all the body detoxification, all the stuff that I mentioned before. And now I want to speak about the toxicity we have in our mind, from our negative thinking. Okay. Yes, okay.
If anybody has any questions right now, what I'm asking, hi everybody who joined. What I'm going to ask, if you have a question for Sabina about the first topic, which was the charcoal, the fasting, the oil pooling, the walking in nature, and did I miss anything?
Rebounding.
The rebounding.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have any questions about these topics, please put it capital letters in the comments. And oh boy, my computer, I don't think we're getting comments. I think we're just getting people listening. So that's good. And on YouTube, I'm not sure if we're getting any. We might have a question. I don't know if that's a capital question. Hey. Hi, Bill, and hi, Corey. Hi, everybody. So tonight we have a special guest, and we're talking about detoxing and how to keep our bodies healthy. So if you have a particular question out of the subjects we talked about, which was how to detox with those specific things that we just talked about, please ask them. And if you have a question about something you're already doing to detox, and you might have doubts about if you're actually doing something good for your body or not, it's a good time to ask the question before we go to the next topic, which is going to be how to detox your mind. Your mind, which is, we know how important that is, right? The negativity, which is everywhere. So do we have any questions? I don't think so, which is great. Okay. So also, if you're with us, let us know by with a like, so I could tell how many people are on. A lot of times you guys know that I cannot tell how many people are on and listening until like the next day when I see how many views. So if you could let me know that you're on, that'd be great. And with that, we're going to go to the next subject, how to detox your mind. And I just also want to say that, this is, you're a coach, so you're a wellness coach, you're a professional. So this is for health. So, a lot of YouTubers have to say, this is not medical advice, this is for entertainment only, but Sabina is a wellness coach. So we do know that. So, and you could find her email address. What is your email address?
It's sabinakurz@gmail.com. And you can also contact me through my website, sabinakurz.com, Kurz. And you can ask me questions. I'm available. And I also, just to let you know, I offer free consultations for anyone who wants to go deeper on the journey to detoxify body, mind, and spirit.
And I put Sabina's name in the title. So let's go to the next subject. I learned a lot from that subject, by the way. So take it away, Sabina. We're going to talk about healing our minds now from toxic negative energy.
Yeah. So I know it's a lot of information, so I hope I'm not bombarding you. And so the next thing is, how to be empowered in our mind and how to conquer negative thoughts, because every day there's negative people around us, and especially our own mind. I realize how much limiting beliefs we have, and how much beliefs, even things like I can't, that's a limiting belief that keeps coming. Oh, it's too hard, or I don't deserve it. Like all that stuff keeps coming in every day. So in order to stay really empowered, first of all, it's important to have a morning practice. Everything you do each morning, and then start your day with gratitude. First of all, be grateful for what you do have, because even it doesn't seem a lot. We all have something to be grateful for, and that's really the foundation to start your day. And it could be such simple things as grateful to be alive and actually to be breathing and walking, and grateful to have the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives, and grateful to be looking at the blue sky or seeing the beautiful flowers that are coming up now everywhere in spring. So there could be very simple things there. We often think it has to be something huge, but no, even the simplest things can actually be the most powerful. So if you start with your day with gratitude, you come from a foundation of being content, being happy, feeling good about life, and then you can build from there. But it's really the foundation for everything, gratitude. And then practicing self-love, doing something good for yourself, self-care, taking care of yourself, and loving yourself for who you are. It's really most people that beat themselves up constantly because they always feel they need to be somewhere else. They need to be further there, or they look back at the past. They wish it would still be like that. But the truth is we only live in the present. We live here and now. We have to start from there, be grateful for what we have and being grateful for this very moment and living in the now. That's really foundation. And then developing a practice, which I think one of the most powerful ways is meditation. Like really sitting down each day and just being present with yourself and to go within and stopping all that chatter. So when it comes in, just let it go and just focus on your breathing or your heart and center yourself. So starting your day with gratitude, self-love, and the meditation. And then you have the foundation to go into this world, and whatever you were bombarded with, you don't get affected so much anymore. But then what happens is, along the day, we often get distracted, we get bombarded. And then what can we do in the moment? And one technique that I found very empowering is the technique of tapping, which means you tap on certain points in your body. Usually when we get stressed or anxiety or we get disempowered, we lost our connection, our energy channels are blocked. So through tapping, you actually free up the energy blockages and then the energy can move up again. So tapping actually, I don't want to go too much into it, but you can find many videos online. It's like tapping on certain points. Like, for example, here it's a karate chop point. It's that even I feel anger, I completely love and accept myself. And you start to tap here and here, and you start first with stating where you are. Even though I feel anger, I completely love and accept myself. And you say, I'm going to have a good day today. I'm in charge of my life. And you tap these different points like here, 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 and here, under the arms, on top of the head. So it's this, but you find all that stuff because it takes too much time. But tapping is a way that I found that's very effective. It can get you out of the state, whether you stress or anxiety or disempowerment, or you feel just to the point where you have like depression. It can actually get you out of there. Also, it can get you out of negative thinking, such as financial issues or certain situations with people. You feel like those energies have taken over you. Tapping can help you release this. So it's a very powerful tool that is easy. You can easily do in 5 minutes. And then there's breath work. Breath work is actually just being conscious of your breathing and then holding the breath. And there's also a website I can recommend. It's called The Alchemy of Breath. That is really using your breath to break the patterns that we have, because we often have programs that come all the way from childhood. They run our lives and we're not really in charge. We live at the effect of life because those programs have taken over since childhood. And they're so deep that we live our life through these filters and we create our life through the filters. And breath work actually can help to break those patterns. So something to look into, breath work.
Can I just say something about breath work for a second? Because we were talking about tapping, and I heard that it's good for PTSD, people with any kind of trauma stuff.
Yeah.
The breath work, I heard when you're breathing in, let's say for 3, and then breathing out for 4, longer out breaths. That's supposed to be really good for PTSD. I don't know if you ever heard that. But in a series of 3s, I heard that it's really helpful. People that know me know I have PTSD.
And I think there's different ways of breath work. This is really just deeply breathing in and out. So this is the ocean in and out. Then there's breath work. We actually hold the breath, which is a different type of breath, and then release the breath. Yes. So that's why I recommend you, if you're interested in breath work, do your research and see what's out there. There's also Wim Hof, a man who won the world record. Also, he goes under really ice cold water, and he managed to get to these states through breath work. He has a lot of videos out there, Wim Hof. And then Alchemy of Breath, but something to look into. And I released actually myself a lot of trauma that I had from a breakup. through breath work. And that was on a workshop I did in Costa Rica, and that really opened up so much. And actually the woman who did the workshop mentioned that even when we were born, we already hold trauma in our body, yeah, and that we carry with us for years. And through breath work, it can be released. Yeah. So it's just a very powerful healing tool.
That's interesting, because you know what I heard? I just heard this the other day, that when we're born, we are traumatized immediately because we get the umbilical cord is cut.
Exactly.
And it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to fall off naturally.
Yeah.
It's supposed to let the mother and baby stay there for like 30 minutes. And this umbilical cord communicates. It's not supposed to be like, boom, you know? You've heard that too?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we are traumatized. But, and then, of course, the doctor spanks you. Hello, like, what? We come into the room, we get hit immediately. So, yeah, I want you to, like, face YouTube people too.
Sorry, sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was just thinking that when you said the umbilical cord, I don't know what we said. Trauma coming into the world. Okay, I had to bust in with that.
And then really mindfulness, being just aware of your thoughts and then daily, like it really takes something to really monitor your thought process, what comes in. And then when a negative thought kicks in, you can say cancel, and then change the thought pattern. And this is probably one of the most difficult things to monitor our own thinking. And then there's also the subconscious mind, which rules, I think 95% of our thoughts, actions, and behaviors are ruled by the subconscious mind. And so,
because that is my favorite subject. That's the one, you know, because you guys know I wrote the book about that, about manifesting our visions, right? And it's all about with the mind, and it's co-creating with the mind. So our minds are so powerful, right? It's like, we could make up our mind, right? You make up your mind to make up your reality. So that's kind of how it works. But like sometimes we do need help. We need our body, like you were saying, to do these things, to detox, to support us. And I love some of the stuff you talked about that. But continue with the mind stuff too. So we could change our programs. We could change our thought process.
Yeah, and another powerful tool is actually visualization. Yeah. First of all, in order to change these negative thought patterns and you want to move your life into a more positive direction, you got to be very clear, first of all, who you are. Who is the essence of you? Not just a name and a body. You actually, an essence. Who are you? And what are you here to do in this world? We're all here for a mission. So why are you here? So these two important questions to know yourself. Who are you? Who am I? And why am I here? So first, you want to be really clear on this.
Good question.
Yeah, most people actually don't know, so they drift through life. Life actually creates them, so they live at the effect of life, and it's very sad.
It's kind of by design too, like how everyone's so caught up, they have to work so much, and of course we have to, and things are hectic, right? And then we live in a toxic world, so we're always catching up. So it's hard to know, why am I here and who am I, right? Exactly. But especially now, and you guys know from all my talks, why we're here is so important right now. It is the most important thing to figure out, because we're in a spiritual war. This is where we are. We're in a toxic world. This is where we are. And this is the time to figure it out. Who are you and why you're here?
Yeah. And the thing is, you have to be so clear about your vision. You have to have a vision for yourself. Where do you see yourself? First of all, who are you? Why are you here? And what is your vision? How do you see yourself? Got to be very clear. Where do you see yourself living, and with whom? What do you see yourself doing, and how do you make a difference? Because it's very clear that we're here to, as Tammy said, we're here to make a difference. We're here to be our greatest contribution. We're here to serve Mother Earth. We're here to protect the Earth. With all that, with all that stuff that's happening, is there's so much attack on our mother, the Earth, and we have to protect the Earth, the animals, the plants, the minerals. So we're here to protect them, and we're here to be of greater service. We're not just here to survive. We're here to thrive and to make a huge difference. And in order to do that, we have to be very clear: what is my greatest contribution? What is my vision? And once you're clear about your vision, then you can move towards that. You take action steps little by little to move towards the vision.
I just want to ask you, excuse me 1 second, if there's any questions, to please put it in capitals. So, yeah, put it in a capital. So now we're entering into my realm of creating your vision with all this stuff. So that's my specialty. But where are we with detoxing with that? Where are we going with the detoxing of the mind in that sense?
Well, it's when the negative thought comes in, you want to catch it. You want to, in that moment, that's where the mindfulness that's why meditation helps you. The more you meditate, the more you become in control of your thoughts. So when the negative thoughts comes in, then you can catch it. You say, okay, that was the past, but now I'm moving towards the future, and you create a different story. So it's we've been living our story, yeah, and being clear of that. The past, we have been so conditioned, and then catch the thought and then move towards the new vision. Be very clear and visualize it. Also in meditation, you can actually visualize how do you see yourself. You visualize your life.
I like to always say when I do vision work with people, when I work with people, it's always in the present and it's always in the positive. So whenever we're doing a visualization, it's never, I want to, do X, Y, and Z. It's I am doing X, Y, and Z now. I am already healthy, happy, and free, or whatever that affirmation is. It's now and it's positive. And the brain never understands the word don't. Or it just doesn't get the negative word. Yeah.
I don't want this.
Yes, because it gives you that. Exactly. I don't want, I don't want a glass of water. Okay. It says glass of water. You immediately think glass of water. Exactly.
Yeah.
So where are we going now with the detox? Was there any questions about detoxing? We covered topics of detoxing the body, detoxing the mind and the spirit, kind of with meditation at this point. Any questions about what we talked about? And if there's any further points you have, Sabina gave a website and she can give it again.
Yeah, so my website is sabinakurz.com. And I also just want to mention I have if you're interested in using emotional pain as a tool for transformation and healing, I wrote a whole book on that subject, and I'm currently offering a free ebook. So if you want to read the book, just go on my website, sabinakurz.com, and you can read the book there. And this is actually also a form of detox, which comes from the shamanic world. And I want to quickly mention that in our society, when we have pain, we often either go to psychotherapy, we talk about our pain, or often we avoid the pain by covering up. We cover it up through drinking alcohol, food, drugs, whatever, different ways of covering it up. But we don't really face the pain full on. And in the shamanic work that I've done, a lot of working with a shaman, it is about really facing the pain full on, which means sitting in your pain, really feeling the pain and letting the pain express itself verbally and physically. And if you do this on a regular basis, the pain actually will transform into joy and ultimately inner peace. And there's a whole ritual that I actually practiced, which is also in my book, and will take too long to explain it, but there's a way to use pain actually as a powerful tool for creative expression and for healing and transformation. And it's intense. It's not for everyone. It really takes about looking at your dark side, at your shadow, and really looking at those parts of you. It's a question.
I'm sorry, we have a question. What is tapping? I'll just say one thing about it, and then Sabina could tell you a little bit more. It's emotional freedom technique, and the other word for it is tapping.
Yeah, so you can find actually many videos on YouTube. It's about tapping on different points in your body, like the karate chop point is one, and then here, between your eyebrows, above your eyebrows, on the side of your eyebrows, and you go under the eye, under the mouth, on the chin, collarbone, and then under the arm, and then here. So you tap on those points while you say certain affirmations. So first you state where you are. So even though I'm angry, I completely love and accept myself. And you move on. You go then to the point where you want to move. First you start where you are with the anger, and then you move slowly towards a better feeling, such as, I know it's all going to work out, or I know my life is perfect as it is. I know this is a great learning experience, or I love myself. Whatever works for you, it has to be authentic to you. And you move from this feeling where you are towards a better feeling state. And by tapping on these points, you actually release the blocked energy in your body. It releases them and you can free yourself. And within like doing this for 5 minutes, you can actually totally transform from one state to another.
I just want to say about tapping, because I've used it a lot. So I'll start with an emotion. Let's say I'm at a number 8, like in, let's just say anger, because that's a pretty intense emotion, right? So let's say I'm starting with the number 8 anger emotion, and I go through the tapping. After I do it a series of times, I say, oh, I'm now at a 4. So you could tell your own progress by doing the numbers, by seeing, like, you go from 1 to 10. Where am I with this emotion? Where do I feel with this disappointment, with this anger, with this sadness, with this frustration? It could be any emotion, and it's really helpful. Like I said before, I did it a lot with PTSD, and there's other ways to do it too. How do I feel with the PTSD? Uncomfortable. Am I a 10? Am I an 8? And then you see your progress as you go through the tapping points. So that was a great explanation. Do we have other questions for Sabina before we move on to other topics? Hey, Marlene and Steve and John, I agree. Comfort too, many people avoid it. Is that confront too that you're saying, John? Is that what you're saying, confront too? Many people avoid it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Even to the point people deny it. They said, I don't have that thing. It's like,
right.
It's under the rug. It says, why don't you just face it? And you can actually transform it. But if you sweep it under the rug, it's always going to be there. It's just going to escalate. Yeah.
Denial is not.
Denial doesn't work. Yeah.
Denial. Nope. We don't do denial here. No.
We only.
John says yes.
To be authentic, because transformation is possible for everyone, but it takes about looking at your stuff, looking at your darkness and your shadows and your inner demons. You got to face them, and it's not pleasant. It's not everyone can do it, but that's where the work comes in, and that's where the transformation and ultimately freedom lies there. Go into your fears, in your darkness. On the other side is freedom, but there's no shortcut. There's no way around it. You got to go through this. You got to go through the pain. Your honesty, authenticity. Facing the most ugly side of you, look at it and say, okay, that's me too. And then work through it. But you got to look at the shadow. That's where the shadow work is also very powerful, really working with your dark side. Because we all have the light, we have the darkness, we have it all. And we want to embrace all our qualities, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then when we get to the point where accepting all of us, then we can actually shift more towards the light, but it really starts by accepting the darkness.
Do we have any other questions? Hey, Diane, who joined. If you stay on a little bit, I'm going to be doing my segment on how to detox from the geoengineering, the metals, and the fungal matter that's coming down. And we're going to do a prayer. But we're still working with Sabina. And do we have any questions? And do you want to add any additional thoughts? And I'll start with the book again. Okay. This is Sabina's first book. Sabina's an artist, so the graphics in this book. Wait, let me get it on there right. That's the title at the bottom, and there's the top cracked open, and the pictures are beautiful. The beautiful graphics in here. They're gorgeous pictures of nature, and you can tell Sabina's an artist. So you can tell by the visuals in here. They're absolutely beautiful. It's harder to tell with the reflections on the computer. And I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm annoyed. I'm avoiding YouTube. I'm absolutely doing that. But it's a beautiful book. And then she also has a free ebook on her website. Any other thoughts that you like?
So the book is actually more the spiritual component, like doing a spiritual detox, doing the shamanic work. And really, so I was actually in such pain through abandonment and betrayal and heartbreak. And I consulted a shaman who actually really asked me to work with my shadow side, really sit down and look at my dark side. And it was very painful. And he advised me to go into the forest, because in Mother Nature, we can actually release a lot of things that we can't do indoors. And Mother Nature is supportive of our healing. So I went out in the forest almost every night. I released my pain just by sitting my pain, feeling my pain, looking at my dark side, looking at all the demons, everything that came up inside of me. So I sat there for about 6 months. I would go in the forest and sit with my pain, yeah. And then the shaman actually invited me to, when the pain comes out, to release it physically and verbally, which I did. At some point, it actually turned into joy. I was like crying and screaming and taking it out of my body, like shaking and dancing and moving. At some point, it got to this point of joy where I actually could really, and this joy got me to the place that I could actually see my past. I could see my suffering would not just come from this heartbreak, it would actually go all the way back to childhood. So that's where the shadow work is really powerful, because our darkest side is not just from situations that come up, they just trigger it, but it's really comes all the way back from early childhood, probably the first 7 years of our lives. And once we can actually see that, and then then we have the potential to transform it. So that work, the shamanic work, with really feeling the pain and sitting in your pain, looking at the dark side, got me then to a place of really experiencing joy and then inner peace. And then I was able to move out of a relationship when I could actually see this relationship was actually abusive, but I couldn't see it while I was in it. Only by doing the deep, dark work, then I saw the abuse that was actually taking place, that was related to many patterns from the past, from childhood. So this is one very powerful way to detoxify your spirit, facing the darkness. And then there's a technique called cord cutting, which a lot of shamans do. Because we have energy cords to other people that are often there from many, many years. And even we think we have moved on from that person, we have not, because the energetic cord, even if you don't see the people anymore, the energetic cord is still there. And then there's a technique called cord cutting, which you can also do your research on, where you can cut off the energetic cord to people that have an influence on your life. And once you do that, actually, it's a tremendous amount of freedom. Even the other person is not present, they don't even know that you're doing this. So there's ways to disconnect from spiritual attachments to people or energies.
That is so important too, like to cut off, because sometimes we think we're ended a relationship and we're still connected. Sometimes it's in our head, but sometimes it's in the spirit world that we're still connecting. So to make that gesture, whether it's through visualization, through prayer, meditation, to end that and let it have peace, move on, I think it's really important. Do we have questions? Do we have any questions about our topic so far before we move into the next segment? And I'm glad you guys are hanging in there. I know this is a little long tonight, but I wanted to go into the stuff about detoxing from last week. We talked about some really serious chemicals and stuff that are coming down. Really ugly pictures I showed.
So I'm pretty much done. Most of my.
Well, thank you, Sabina.
Yeah, so this is just a quick overview, but if you want to know more or you want to go deeper into this, feel free to contact me through my website, sabinakurz.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Okay, but thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for being
honored to be here today. Thank you, Tammy, for inviting me. First of all,
exactly. And I want to also just suggest to people too, Sabina is really great with nutrition. So I know we talked about detoxing tonight, so she didn't get into real food. She talked about stuff to like, charcoal and fasting, which is like the opposite of food, right? But Sabina is a really great nutritional coach as well. Am I right?
Yes, thank you.
So, and I've learned to make some really fantastic smoothies when you were around here a lot. And she uses a lot of seeds and a lot of different powders, superfoods, and fruit. And they're very, very energetic and nutritional. And also steaming food. I know you're on a raw food diet right now, but, so if you are interested in working with food and nutrition as well, Sabina would be great to talk with. And you do a consultation, you said?
Yeah, I currently offer free consultations, 30 minutes consultation for anyone who might be interested to explore this. So we can have a conversation and see if there's something I can support you with. And I'll be very happy to share whatever I can.
So if you have a goal Whether it's, you know, a lot of people have weight goals or body goals or detox goals. You could talk to Sabina on her consultation and see if she could help you with your goal. Great.
Idea. Thank you so much.
You're
for having me. Thank you for
welcome.
having me.
Thanks for being here.
Thank
Do you
you.
want to wait while I do want to, or you
Yeah.
have to go? Because it's up to you. You're
Yes, there's
welcome
nothing
to be here. Good. Okay. Hi, everybody. Is anybody still here? Like, I know we're a little bit long tonight. They're saying thank you. You're welcome, Scott. Very interesting from Diane. Thank you. To Sabina.
It's 10 o'clock now.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
my son has to go to sleep, so I actually have to go and get him to bed.
So we're going to say goodnight to Sabina.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Good night, yeah.
And good night, Nathaniel. Thank you. I'll speak to you guys during the week. Okay. All right. Thank you. So, okay, now we're going to get to like the kind of icky part. It's kind of icky because we talked last week about some of the fungal matter and the smart dust and the chemicals that are coming from the trails. And I told you that I would give you a detox video for this. Now, I want to make this clear. This is not a video for medical advice or health advice. This is stuff that I've been doing that's working for me. So I have to put that out there as just my disclaimer. These are things that I've researched and I've worked on myself to find out ways to cure and to countermeasure is a better word because it's constant. It's not a one-time fix for anybody who thinks that it's just like, I'll do it once and I'll be better. No, it's a constant, it's constant detoxing, although, good night, honey. Although you don't have to do it as much if you start doing it. So let me just see by a show of hands, who's still on? Who is still on? If you're on, click the like button or let me know by pressing 1 that you're still on. So I just have an idea of how many people are on at this point. I'm seeing a few. Okay. And are you guys interested in hearing my detox for chemtrails and fungal and smart dust that we are all being hit with on a regular basis? Good, Scott. I'm glad you're here too. So I'm going to start with a bath, okay? And I have products. So I'm going to just bring out some products. When you take your bath, okay, the first 2 items you're going to need are Epsom salt, baking soda, and I like to use an organic baking soda because the ones that are not organic, they have metals in them, believe it or not. They have aluminum. Arm & Hammer has aluminum in it, so I don't use that one. So try to find an organic, it's hard to see it, a baking soda that's organic. What I do is I put a cup of each of those into a very hot bath. That's what the base of the bath is about to start with. And, you know, soak it in that bath. What I do then is I put in a little plastic container. Borax. Now, I used to think borax was some kind of like chemical that was dangerous. It's really not. It's a natural, kind of a minerally salty type of a product. And for some reason, it's kind of a little gritty. It does kill a lot of that bacteria. So I take the borax in a powdery form in the water and just, it's like a scrub and it actually feels kind of good. It's like, you know, if you've ever done like an exfoliation scrub, kind of feels like that. That's one. You can also add to this, if you want to add something else to your bath, you could put hydrogen peroxide in there. Put that bottle out there. This size bottle is sufficient in a bathtub. Now, these are all things that will detox your body. It'll pull the metals out because the salt, the Epsom salt, will open the pores. The borax will take the stuff off the surface. The baking soda will add alkaline into your body. And again, this is another detoxifier, the hydrogen peroxide. Another thing, right back. If you have persistent areas that are heavily, a lot of people complain about itchy skin because we're getting fungal stuff from the trails. Okay, smart dust is encompassed with a fungal matter. It's self-assembling, and it contains heavy metals with it. So we need to get rid of the bacteria and the fungal stuff. This is something. Can you see this? It's a lot of people don't want to use this. I do. I use it. So I'm just going to let you know. I put a little bit of this with the borax in my hand, scrub it together, and wash with it. It's a powerful antibacterial. It kills, it says 99% of bacteria, but it does have something in there that is important. I think it's let me give you the exact name of it is a chemical, just to let you know. The active ingredient is a lactic acid. So that's what is doing the killing in there. So I use it. Another thing you do, people have stuff on their scalp, okay? And a lot of people are getting stuff on their scalp because when things are falling from the sky, the first place is going to go to the scalp. And it's fungal matter. It's fungal matter. It's heavy metal. It's smart dust. So you can use all of these things, in a bath. You could dunk your head in the bath with all of these things that I told you in there, and rinse off. Okay, to rinse off with an apple cider vinegar as like a rinse for your hair. It's antibacterial. It's actually really good for you to drink it as well, but you could pour it on your head. And I recommend using a little bottle like this because you don't want to get it in your eyes. This will burn you. So it'll burn your eyes. It will feel very tingly on your scalp, especially if you need it. If you really need this, it's going to tingle on the scalp. So, but you want to avoid your face and your eyes. So that's why you get a little bottle like that with a little top like that. So any questions about the bath? Do we have any questions about the bath so far? It's weird. I don't know if we have people on tonight. Oh, how many times a week? Okay, to start with, I would do 3 to 4. If somebody is coming from a place of feeling that their skin is itchy and feeling that they're being hit a lot with the trails, 3 to 4 times a week. And then, you can go down to 1 to 2, but that's when it's really under control. You have to really make sure I'm feeling, my body doesn't feel itchy. I don't feel any bumps, that kind of a thing. Hope that answers the question. And it could go on for like a month or so with 3 to 4 times a week, easily. Yeah, everybody's being hit with this, so you're not alone. It's just a matter of how hard. And, some people are being hit really hard with it, and some people, everyone's body's a little different. So some people are being hit mildly with it. Next step in this process, there's stuff you could take internally too, because this stuff is not only coming down from trails, it's also in the food. So we're eating all the processed foods and even stuff that's not processed. If you go into the grocery store and you just walk in the grocery store, if you took your finger and wiped the counter in the grocery store and looked at what comes on there under a microscope, you will see these trails. You will see little particles of metal. You'll see all the matter I'm talking about. So it's everywhere. It's in every store. It's in, like what my friend was talking about, Sabina. It's on the fields where they're growing food. It's in all the bodies of water, and it's coming down from the rain. So we can't avoid it. Can't avoid it. So it's in our body as well. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Diane. Yeah, they mix it up a lot with the spraying. Sometimes they spray a lot in certain areas and sometimes not so much. It's just, it varies, but if you're in an area where they're spraying a lot, I recommend doing these on a regular basis because it's a countermeasure. It's not a fix. It's not going to cure you forever. So I'm sorry, Diane, that it's loaded there. So these are some things you could take internally, which I take. And again, this is not medical advice. This is just stuff that I've been researching that works for me. Caprylic acid. You see that label? Caprylic acid. Okay, that breaks up the fungal stuff in your body. It's in a capsule. I'm not going to tell you how many to take. I take 1 to 2 a day. So it's up to you. It comes in it's a capsule. These happen to be, I'll tell you how many milligrams these are. These are a dietary supplement, 120 capsules. They're gluten-free, non-GMO. I find that to be important to do. And it doesn't actually say how many milligrams. So if you just buy caprylic acid, it'll be the right amount. It's the first thing. The second thing I do for persistent areas, like if it's really itchy in a certain area, whether it's on the scalp or in a little area on your arm, now you avoid your face at all costs. You avoid your face. This is probably the strongest thing ever. It's oregano oil, antiseptic. You see it? Oregano oil. Very, very strong. It's just 1 drop. You might want to put it on a little place on your scalp or a little place on your arm or wherever you're finding it persistent where it's itchy. But just a drop. Because that's really, really powerful and it burns. Other things to use. Let's see what else I have here. Monolaurin. This is also for detoxing from the fungal stuff. It's antifungal, Matt. The cameras are terrible. Monolaurin. You see that? Monolaurin. These are all natural antiseptic, antibiotic, antibacterial, antifungal. Hey, Jessica. And okay, here is something that's really great for the metals, detoxing the metals. Liquid chlorophyll. It's hard to, there you go. Chlorofresh. Also, when you do a green drink, cilantro, it's one of the best chelators to take metals out. Cilantro. So when you get a green drink, put cilantro in there. Celery is also great. Parsley is also great. But cilantro happens to be one of the best. Okay, moving along. Some people use this. Whoops. Bentonite. It happens to be like a clay, but it is edible. The instructions are on the bottle. And it's a detoxer. It also it pulls out the metals from your body. So that's something, I don't really use it, but I know a lot of people do for moving stuff out of the body, especially the metals. And then we're going to also we talked about apple cider vinegar in the bathtub, but you can also just take the capsules as well. It's really good for you. And these are, it says, it's organic. It says a weight loss formula. It's just a really, really great supplement to take. Really good for the detox process. And then I found it, okay. So we're doing a lot of detoxing, right? We're taking a lot of stuff out. Now there's things we have to put in that I want to talk about that are real important. A probiotic. This one is a 60 billion. Because if you're going to take out all this stuff, you have to put stuff back in. So a really good probiotic is important. And I found something recently that I'm really amazed about, and it's helping me a lot. Minerals. Because our water is so drained of nutrients, and we're so worried about like fluoride, which we should be. right? We're filtering everything out of our water, everything. So we have to put stuff back in our body because we're losing all the minerals. We're losing it. So I started adding some chelated zinc. Okay, it's zinc 15 chelated. And that seems to be really great. But here's the real amazing thing. And if you're going to do any of these things, please research it on your own so you can figure out if you need it and if it's going to work for you. I researched it. I found out I do need it. I've been taking it and it's amazing. It's liquid copper. And you want to know something interesting about copper? We used to use coins all the time, pennies. When was the last time you touched a penny? Anybody? Do you remember? Because it used to be in circulation a lot, not so much. So that's just one way to get copper. They also took copper out of everything. It's really interesting that they did that because our bodies need copper. So I did a lot of research about copper, and it's something that communicates with the cells and it heals. So it's just a matter of drops, We're not talking about a teaspoon or a whole drop full. We're talking about 5 drops. That's what I'm taking. I don't know what you would need. You would have to find out. They do hair analysis and other things. You could find out if you need copper, number one, and if you do need copper, how much you need. So this has been a really interesting find for me, and I'm very, very glad to find that and to be taking it. And then magnesium. I find that we all have a magnesium deficiency, all of us. So that can't hurt to take that no matter what. And it's 500 milligrams. I take 3 or 4 when I remember. I take them. It's very helpful. And I think oh, no, I think we covered that. We covered that. So are there any questions about some of the stuff that I covered about detoxing in the bath and stuff to take internally for detoxing? Hey, Michael, who joined. This might have been boring tonight. If it is, I'm sorry. I know it's not my regular topic, but we talked about stuff last week that was, pretty serious with some of the stuff that's coming down, and people were freaking out and saying, oh my God, how do we get rid of these things? Well, the last part of the talk and the beginning part as well was how do you get rid of these things? So are there any questions about what I just talked about for detoxing? Cilantro, Jessica, yes. Okay, Diane, you can't use which? Cannot use that. And, everyone knows their own body, right? Everyone, and we also are supposed to go, okay, good. We're supposed to take care of ourselves. What works for one person might not work for somebody else. So, these are the things that are working for me, and not all of them and not all the time. So it's when I need certain things, and you start figuring out for yourself what your body needs and when you need it. And you start getting to know how to tweak your body. And the only way I got to this place is by having health issues. If I didn't have health issues, I'd never have cabinets full of supplements, cabinets full, So, and I wouldn't know how to use them. The oregano, very powerful, very, very powerful. I don't recommend it for everybody. And I recommend being very, very careful with it. Okay. So Scott, it's not boring. Great. Okay, cool. Daily multivitamin. I can't see how that could hurt, But again, there's not medical advice. If you're going to take a daily multi, see if it has minerals in it, because that was the thing I was lacking. And so if it has minerals, if it's really well balanced, well, then that would be great if you find a good one. And find an organic one, and, find one that's recommended highly. And why not? Why not? If you can get everything from the food, I think that's the best source that we could do. But as my girlfriend Sabina was talking about earlier, it's almost impossible. Our food is so compromised. So, I feel like I have to take out stuff and then add stuff. And so, any other questions? Hey, Sam, who joined us. And Jessica saying, as a binder to remove the metals. Also, vitamin C IVs. I did IVs for years. Infusions, I agree. Vitamin C is wonderful. I also did ozone. There's so many things. There's so much out there that's natural and healthy. Yes, absolutely. But I was just talking mostly about the trails and the smart dust because that's what I was finding lately that's kind of disgusting, and it's getting on people's skin. And we did a talk last week and people were like, well, how do we get rid of it? So I don't know if C works for that so much, but C is great for bonding and getting rid of stuff on the body. Agreed. So if we don't have any more questions or comments, what I'm going to do is a short prayer. And I'm going to use, again, because I love this book, it's Sheila Zielinski. And the reason I love this book is because it's not just regular prayers. It's prayers for warfare, because we're in very interesting times. Okay, we're in interesting times, and we're in a spiritual war. If you haven't noticed, we are. That's why our food, our air, and our water is being poisoned. So it's not an accident. It's not like, oh, wow, they made a mistake. No, it's not. It's not. We're in a war, and we're fighting, and we are winning. But I like to say prayers because we're in a war. So we say warfare prayers. So I'm going to start with everyone who would like to join me in this. Yes, Jessica. So I'm going to read it. Okay, I'm going to read it to you guys. Father, I thank you for your son, Jesus Christ, who gave his life on the cross. Lord, I thank you that you shed every drop of your blood in order that the world might be saved, healed, and delivered. I thank you that you suffered the name of infirmity and that you hung on the cross for all of us so that we wouldn't have to suffer. I bind and break the power of the curse of death that came to all of us through Adam. I bind and break the power of the spirit of infirmity, the ruler spirit over all infirmities, and I command it to leave all of us and the planet now, in Jesus' name. I bind and break the name of infirmity. I speak death to it from the root out and command it to leave my body in the name, and your body in the name of Jesus Christ. I apply the shed and resurrect blood of Jesus Christ to all of us and to our bodies, and to say, body be healed in the name of Jesus Christ. Last but not least, the grace that is sufficient, the grace Jesus poured out on the Calvary when he declared, it is finished. That's the grace I apply to everyone and to myself, to our bodies, to my body, to your body, in the name of Jesus. Father, we received it by faith, and we thank you for it right now. Amen and amen, in the name of Jesus Christ. I wish everybody a great evening. I hope you have a beautiful week. Hope you do something fun this week. Stay healthy and stay detoxing and be well. And I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Okay, have a good one. Good night on YouTube. Oh, I have to get my little mouse here. Good night.